Praise God, dear friends. It's a joy for me to share the word with you all this week. And I want to share something that the Lord has placed in my heart for the last couple of days while I was meditating on the word. For those of you who are not familiar with the story of the Bible, as you begin from Genesis, you come across different characters, and you come to this point where there's this character called Jacob, whom God changes his name to Israel, and then he calls Jacob and says that he will make him a great nation, which God eventually does. And they end up in Egypt as slaves under the Pharaoh. And then God once again sends this man called as Moses to deliver them out. And they come to this place called Mount Sinai, and God is having this conversation, and God says these words there in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 6. And he says, "And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." Now, there's one thing that God really taught me, which I felt is very profound for all of us in our journey. And that is, first of all, God calls us his children, Christians, to stand apart, to be a separated people for him. He called the Israelites among all the other people as a nation separated for him. But then, if you go ahead, if you go further into the book of Exodus and the books that follow, you see that God chooses a particular tribe. He chooses the tribe of Levi. The Levites are the ones that God chooses to work for him, to offer service for him in the tabernacle. Now, where am I getting with this? Well, today we may all be saved, we may all be rooted and planted in a church, and we may all be doing different things. But it's important for us sometimes to know that even when we are in places like these, even when we are in church, sometimes God expects a separation from us even in that place. To make it even more clear, now there was Samson and there was Samuel, and both of them had a very similar calling, and that was to be a Nazirite to God. That is, to not have their hair cut and not to have wine. Well, of course, one of them did disobey. But what I'm trying to say is, even among the Israelites, even among Christians today, God has a very specific and unique purpose for each one of us. And today what I want to stress upon it, look up to God and ask him, what is that specific calling that he has for you? What is that specific purpose that he has for you? What is that separation that he expects from you, even though you may be part of a group or a church? And I'm sharing this because God has put this burden in my heart, and I believe that God has kept something very unique and something very important for each of you out there today. So you may be in the church, you may not be, but that doesn't matter. Look up to God, spend time in his presence, and ask him what it is that he wants you to do. How does he want you to be different from the already different? How does he want you to be separate from the already separated people? So that, my friend, is the word for this week, and I believe that it will be a blessing to you. If it was, do share with your friends, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.